The State Bank Big Game presents the Winfield Cup.
Hello and welcome to the Sydney Cricket Ground for this minor semi-final in the 87 Winfield Cup between Canberra and South Sydney. For the Canberra Raiders, this is their second chance after Eastern Suburbs defeated them last Sunday, and their full team is Belcher, Kinner, Henjack, Jackson, Corkery, O'Sullivan, Walters, Lance, Captain, Coyne, Gilbert, Bacco, S. Walters and Todd. The Rabbitohs also live again to fight another day after their sudden death 15 points to 12 win over Balmain last Saturday, and their full team readout today is Phil Blake, Moon, Michael Blake, Cruikshank, Marvin, Neville, Coleman, Ellison at lock in number 6, Chisholm, Davidson, Boyle, Fennick, Roberts. Mick Stone is the referee in this crucial match, which will see either South Sydney or Canberra drop out of the race for the Winfield Cup. Well, Mick Stone's getting them underway now for this sudden death semi-final. South Sydney running from left to right. Canberra receiving the ball, and Canberra or South Sydney are going to be out of this Winfield Cup after today. It's going to be a battle of the giants. I'm expecting a very torrid affair, and this man in possession at the moment, Sam Bacco, will have some control of the game with his strength and pace around the ruck. And South Sydney will also be very aware of the fact that they failed to score a try against Canberra in the competition this year, something that they'll be hoping to rectify today. First penalty of the match. Jackson, I think, will take the kick. Well, he gets a fair one away. It goes over the touchline on the halfway line. Canberra got to be aware of mistakes. They made some ones that were very costly in last week's match against Eastern Suburbs. Walters away to Bacco, who's patently fired up for this event. It's a good surging run close to the ruck. Out to Henjack. Ashley Gilbert motoring forward. They're making good ground. Walters out to Coyne, back on the inside to Brett Todd. Well taken pass there by O'Sullivan. It was down around his knees. Play on the fifth tackle, about 8 metres outside the South Sydney quarter. Jackson kicks ahead. Marvin takes it and drops it. And gets a rousing reception from the Canberra players who poured in on him.
So an excellent start by Canberra. Their forwards are getting deep and running onto that ball, making good yardage in the rucks. And a major mistake from South. Look for Gary Belcher to get involved in the back line for the Raiders.
And Jack feeds the scrum. He's playing halfback again today. Corkery running crossfield. O'Sullivan at dummy half. Out to Belcher. Turns it back on the inside, and that was Jackson coming straight ahead. Well, they've struck for the ball and they play the ball, South Sydney, and come up with it. So the pressure off. Good looping run out there by David Cruikshank. But it's all gone for nothing over the sideline. Incredible mistakes from South. David Cruikshank. This long ball that really wasn't on, way out in front here for Moon, and the pressure comes back on again. A clean feed here from the Raiders. Belcher will be looking to get involved in the back line. I thought he was going to do it from the other scrum, but the ball just came out skew-iff, so they didn't get a clean feed. It looks very much to me as though there are a lot of nerves in the South Sydney side, on the flanks anyway. Jason Moon and Marvin. Canberra come up with the ball. Belcher back inside to Jackson. O'Sullivan, Corkery. Corkery steps, goes away from the sideline. Swarming defence puts him down 15 metres out. Walters, Dean Lance straight ahead, about 9 metres out from the line. Walters, Henjack, O'Sullivan, Ashley Gilbert. Brought down with a good tackle. Brent Todd on a Coyne. Coyne running strongly. Gets decked only about 5 metres out from the line. Walters looking for support there, gets it. in the shape of Ashley Gilbert again. Only about 4 metres away. Henjack drives the ball deep. And it's a try. It's a try to O'Sullivan. Come up very smartly. The ball's ricocheted from the grubber kick. And Canberra have struck, and they've struck very early. It's only 4 and a bit minutes. See it again.
And on the State Bank replay, pressure. And pressure brought about by not making mistakes from Canberra. They've been using the ball. It's been sharing it through the forwards and out to the backs. The kick straight across the field. They got the perfect rebound. Chris O'Sullivan on the spot. And what a start for the Raiders. South Sydney have brought this on themselves. 2 major mistakes. One from Maven, one from David Cruikshank. Nobody to blame but themselves.
Absolutely critical for Canberra that Belcher takes his time about these kicks. He's not a regular goal kicker, but he has been practicing a lot. And the 2 joint coaches of the Canberra Raiders, Ferner and Bennett, looking on anxiously. Belcher makes the extras, so there's the score. Canberra 6, South Sydney 0. Coleman, Ellison, Marvin, and flattens straight away. No big pardons. Coleman onto Davidson, runs hard. Well, there's a South Sydney player, I think, has decked a Canberra man there, and I believe it was Wayne Chisholm, who's thrown a punch on Coyne, and I think he's knocked him to the ground with a 1 punch. I may be wrong there. We saw him falling in the back play there.
Well, no doubt that Coyne was, well, there he was hanging on to Craig Coleman in back play, and Wayne Chisholm decided to take action himself. He's got to leave those decisions with the referee, Mick Stone. South's had all the ball and we're in an advantageous position there to go on with it and try and hit back straight away. But now it should be a penalty to Canberra Raiders.
Well, Chisholm getting the talking to, and Mario Fennick has had his say to Chisholm, and now the penalty goes to Canberra, so the pressure momentarily off. Coyne's up and about. He's actually got a bit of a smile on his face. Kick for touch is a good one. Takes play from the centre of the field over the sideline about 5 metres beyond the halfway line. Brent Todd ploughing forward. There's Sam Bacco getting up some knots. Look at him go. That's a great run by the big front row forward. Very powerful. Sprinting it out now wide to O'Sullivan. Sights a little gap. Goes for it. Taken out by Neville. And I think the referee looked away just at the moment that that player was taken down. There's the grubber kick again. Marvin fields it, loses it. Oh, the ball's in goal. It's another try. It's Belcher's come up with a try, and Marvin is in disarray. Cruikshank was somebody there from South Sydney. I didn't pick the player. Was there in attendance on him, and Marvin put his hand up and the ball deflected. See it again.
On the State Bank replay, and again Peter Jackson picks out Steve Maven. He can only get a hand to it. He knocks Phil Blake out of the way. David Cruikshank, the man that did get back, I'm sorry. Belcher certainly on the spot. They were nice and flat. They read that the kick was on. It was well planned, the whole move, and they've picked Maven out to absolutely terrorise him in these opening minutes. Lack of communications with the fullback and the winger there, and Canberra off to a flying start. Their backs were in good touch in the first half against Eastern Suburbs last weekend. They just couldn't make the most of their opportunities early on, but aren't they doing it today? What a great kick from Jackson and a very well-planned move from the Raiders.
Well, Don Ferner can barely keep the smile off his face. Of course, it's early days. Is there any breeze down there to speak of, David?
Absolutely none, Rex. And it's now gone something like 170 minutes South Sydney without scoring a try against Canberra. They'll be starting to worry right now.
Belcher moves in and hooks the ball slightly. Wasn't a terrible bad kick, but it was bad enough not to get the points. So Canberra 10, South Sydney 0. Sensations here at the Sydney Cricket Ground. Well, I feel a little bit sorry for Marvin at the moment. He's got himself into a nice old psychological knot about this game. He's had 2 blazing errors from a kick-off and now 1 kick put through to him. And Jackson fields that ball again. That's the 3rd time he's fielded a kick-off. Bacco cut out there. It's on to Ashley Gilbert. He's He's 10 metres beyond the quarter line. Yes, let's have a look at these lower grade results because they've been sudden death too. As the kick goes downfield, under 23, South Sydney 18, Cronulla 8, and the reserves, Parramatta 16, East 6. So South Sydney and Parramatta go on. Phil Blake. To Coleman, didn't give that pass because Coleman hadn't dropped back behind him. Boyle powering his way back to the quarter. I reckon Coleman will be doing some talking now. Chisholm spins through a tackle. Makes a good inroad. They're only about 12 metres from the halfway line now. Coleman again. There's the kick over the top. Well, the kick's been made a meal of there by Belcher, but fortunately Kinner came in from the right flank and he's defused that situation. There's Belcher now, lumping the ball up against the South Sydney defence, which just slowed down there momentarily. Corkery standing in a tackle. There's Walters, the halfback, Kevin Walters, running from dummy half and not very successfully. Todd powering his way through. Like to see him stand a bit deeper. Jackson changed direction there and dropped the kick down behind the defence. The ball ricochets off Marvin again. He's got it to Coyne. Coyne's got a pass back on the inside. Beautifully taken by Henjack, and it's another try to Canberra. Oh, astonishing, and Marvin is down on his knees at the moment. Have a look at him. The poor lad. There's an absolute shock for him. Above, everything in his world has fallen about him at the moment. He can't believe that rugby league can be as cruel as this. Let me tell you, it can, son, from long and woeful experience. See it again.
Well, this certainly wasn't planned on this occasion. On the State Bank replay, the man can't really be blamed. He was trying to trap this ball, racing away, got an awkward bounce. The defence was certainly there in great numbers, and it was a good selection of passes here from Coyne, although this pass here was brilliantly half-volleyed by Henjack to scoop it up and go away for the third try for the Canberra Raiders. You've got to feel sorry for Maven on this occasion. In the first two, well, no doubt they were certainly his fault. The ball landed in an awkward area for him and the bounce certainly didn't favour him. But Canberra, their enthusiasm's enormous. South Sydney now in all sorts of trouble about having to hit back. They've got to use the likes of Davidson when he gets nice and deep.
Now George Piggins has gone to the sideline. There he goes out there. I wouldn't be at all surprised that it's to see somebody come from the field, but we shall see. Belcher's kick is successful. So do you believe the scoreline here? Canberra 16, South Sydney 0. Well, Marvin is being taken from the field. And David, you've got a replacement?
Yes, Mark Ross is the man coming on. Steve Maven, obviously very much a confidence player. His confidence has been torn to pieces today in the opening 15 minutes of this match, and I really think it is a wise move by coach George Piggins.
Well, I do too. I've got nothing but sympathy for him. It's a horrible sight to see a young player going off the field like that. But anyway, Roberts to Ellison. The Canberra defence now on the last tackle. And there's a penalty. Mario Fennick and Henjack are going at it. Mario Fennick has turned the head and put his hands up. There's no question that he doesn't want to get involved in anything in the way of any fisticuffs. He was very calm about that. That's a plus as far as I'm concerned.
Well, calm as anything on a hot day. Mario saying, jigs out the flies bad to Michael Stone.
And South Sydney now have this opportunity to get on the board. He's got it. So at last, South Sydney, relief, they're on the board, 16-2, Canberra. Belcher to get it on the mound. Good crowd here in attendance and very, very noisy. An interesting statistic to come out of the opening 20 minutes of this game. South Sydney in possession held. South Sydney 10 tackles, Canberra for 30 tackles. And the turning point in this first half was 2 tries in the space of 6 minutes to Canberra. Mario Fennick, midway between the quarter and the halfway. Back to Ellison, belts it downfield with a right foot kick. Belcher will get to this. Now he's let Kinner, the winger, take it. It's not a bad sort of a run. He was surrounded by defenders. He's brought it back 5 or 6 yards. Oh, good strong shoulder charge there by Chisholm. Walters, Todd, just out beyond the quarter. And there's a penalty for holding the player's foot. Brent Todd was the player. And Boyle, one thinks, was the transgressor.
Just can't afford to keep on coming up with the penalty, South Sydney. They've just got to score quickly to hit back and get back into the game. Canberra have really nothing more to prove now in this first half except keeping the play controlled, not losing those balls in possession. But South have put a young man by Darryl Neville in at 5'8". He can certainly attack. So they've just got to, as I said before, not bunch and not get that frustrated. When you do that, you tend to play one-out football and run away from your support. So they've just got to keep their cool.
Waters, Henjak, Coyne backslammed hard right in the middle of the cricket pitch. That wouldn't have done him any good. Henjak, Jackson, halfway through the tackle. Davidson over the top. Todd, one-handed pass back to Jackson. They're not making any ground, but they're passing the ball very confidently at the moment. There's Sam Bacco, not standing anywhere deep enough to get himself wound up. Got a pass away to Coyne. It's out there to Henjak. Henjak searching for O'Sullivan's found him. He's up there and he's got a pass back on the inside. It's gone to Ashley Gilbert, and Ashley Gilbert's over for a try, and it's a sensational try. A brilliant try for the Canberra side, who used pace and put that one down originally to the man that stood in the tackle.
When you're hot, you're hot. On the State Bank replay, there was some argument as to whether Sam Bacco had been held long enough here to be called upon to play the ball. I think a few of the South players were asking the question of Mick Stone, but when he did, didn't Canberra go into overdrive? O'Sullivan again slices through the gap there, looks back inside the pass, it's far too great. Belcher did well. He obviously heard a call from behind him to leave it alone, and Ashley Gilbert's the man who gets that perfect bounce of the ball. Canberra, everything's going their way. The big man's causing trouble when he's taking the ball up back out, and he just finds that space out wide again. There's the support. Always someone there if somebody hits the line for Canberra. Great little ball there to put O'Sullivan through the gap, and plenty of support back inside. But just watch this bounce. It's happening that way right throughout the first half. Nothing going wrong for South Sydney as the Raiders go in under the black dot.
Gets the extras. So the score now hastens on. Canberra 22, South Sydney 2. Henjak feeds the scrum. Out to O'Sullivan. Cut out pass to Walters. Walters has got it away to Belcher. Belcher's on the hike upfield. He gets it away there to the wing three-quarter Corkery, who's out only about 2 metres from the corner flag. A good intrusion there by Gary Belcher to come in and break the South Sydney line. Here he is. And
Belcher and Jackson certainly mean a lot to this Canberra side. They're great runners from open play and certainly find plenty of spaces out there in this South Sydney defences today. South's tending to move across field instead of coming up in a straight line and taking out man for man.
The referee listening to a report from Michael Blake that the scrum will go down. There'll be no penalty for this. I think Coleman had to fall on that at the base of the scrum. Yes, he did. Now, South Sydney have got to start the job of clearing their line at this point. Neville comes away with a good sidestepping run, gets out 3 metres from the quarter line. Coleman. Ellison. Beautifully to Ross. Ross goes upfield, steps inside his man. Is taken by Belcher. Got a pass away to Mario Fennick. Mario Fennick's lost the football. And that's a pity, because that was the first occasion, and we've seen in something like 28 minutes that some action from South Sydney was going to look good.
And South are certainly going to look to the likes of Phil Blake and Les Davidson to lift their game. But what they've got to do is exactly what they did in this passage of play. Just support each other. They've got to get behind each other, plenty of enthusiasm, and get there when that man hits the line.
Canberra back in possession. O'Sullivan, Jackson. Gee, this O'Sullivan and Henjak, two of the lesser names one would think in terms of being a great player, considered to be. They do a marvellous job for this Canberra side when they're in form. Todd. Jackson too, his improvement this year in the centres for Canberra has been astonishing. Beautiful pass there by him out to Walters. Walters goes upfield, gets it back on the inside to O'Sullivan. Sullivan's tackled on the corner. Last tackle coming up. Let's see what they do. Jackson's got a kick downfield. Oh, they've let it bounce. Oh, it's another try. This time, Tobacco. South Sydney are absolutely disgraceful. They've lost all confidence. They just let the ball bounce. It's a joke. They would need to have a whole injection of something or other from their coach at half-time to get back into this game. See this again.
On the State Bank replay, the ball in the air and along the ground has caused them so many problems. They've tried to shuffle their team around this week coming into the game with Phil Blake and David Cruikshank, who you saw there allow that ball to bounce, moving in and out of the centre and fullback positions. Phil Blake was caught up there having to make the tackle as the marker. Somebody should have read play and been dropping back into that fullback position, but there was three South Sydney players there. They all had an opportunity to call for the ball, and the bounce, well, near perfect again for Canberra, but three South Sydney players, as I said, just watch it. Michael Blake's there, Les Davidson, and now David Cruikshank coming in, who might have called for that ball, bounced in the middle, and up comes Sam Backo.
As a matter of fact, if you had your way and you were the coach, you'd replace about 8 of them at the moment. Astonishing the way a team goes in and out of form. Anyway, they've got the second half to regroup. Belcher adds the extras. I don't know that I've ever seen a semi-final that's got such a high score before half-time. Canberra 28, South Sydney 2.
And right in the middle of the field here, and centre aside here for both teams, an opportunity for Phil Blake for a little kick across or a chip through for the backs.
Ellison picked it up at the base of the scrum, has locked forward and weaved off to the left. Coleman up to onto Michael Blake. Michael Blake's going to go very close. He's there. I think now the referee's going to go for a double movement. Now I don't necessarily agree with that, but we'll see it again.
It certainly seemed that Michael Blake had slid away from the last line of defence. You'll see him brought down just short of the line. Was he held? Was his momentum stopped? To me, he was certainly clear of that last tackle. I think Michael Stone has ruled incorrectly on this one. Blake being beautifully put into the open spaces back in the inside. The last line of defence, they both slipped off him. That's a try to Souths.
The crowd really in voice at the moment. A very large percentage of this crowd would be South Sydney supporters. Coyne gets 5 metres beyond the quarter line. Waters, Backo. One-handed pass back inside to O'Sullivan. Caught the South Sydney defence snapping. Back to Jackson. Goes to the kick downfield. They're sticking rigidly to their plan. Moon's got it. Oh, it's not going to go over the sideline, no. Moon brings it back towards the quarter. But signs are obvious now that South Sydney are having a lot of trouble keeping up. Some of them are still getting back on side, and the third play the ball's gone. Fennick in a tackle back to Coleman. On to Neville. Neville's used his footwork well. Made an inroad of about 15 metres. Good pass out to Boyle. Back on the inside to Ellison. Ellison to Coleman. They tackled midway between the quarter and the halfway. To Fennick. Fennick lost the ball and the tackle. There's still 6 to go. Ian Roberts picks up the dregs and goes for a sprint. Jackson takes him and gives him a heavy tackle. Round the blind side. Neville. Good footwork. Chisholm. Fennick. Good pass. Boyle slips as he tries to give it away. There's Coleman. Back inside to Mario Fennick. Beautifully to Cruikshank.
Cruikshank is going to score a great try, great solo try. Weaved his way beautifully through a defence that just slackened off there for a moment. And they've kept the ball alive, South Sydney, and scored a try. Good stuff. Maybe we'll see a resurgence. Good share of possession starting to come for South on the State Bank replay. The gaps are starting to come in this Canberra lineup. Should have been a try allowed to Michael Blake. They're starting to support the man with the ball. Some good chain passing from South and plenty of pace from David Cruikshank. The players from broken play like Cruikshank, Phil Blake, Michael Blake, they've just got to be on the ball right throughout the second half if there's going to be any miracle at all at the Sydney Cricket Ground here in the second half. But he found the open spaces and he did well to run round Gary Belcher. A good pass from Fennick a couple of times involved in a movement to keep that ball alive. So some hope, maybe just a glimmer for South Sydney.
Is unsuccessful. So at the half-time break, we've got a scoreline that reads Canberra 28, South Sydney 6. The tries, 5 of them to O'Sullivan, Belcher, Henjak, Gilbert and Bacco. Belcher's kicked 4 goals from time attempts. For South Sydney, the try went to Cruikshank. Goal 1 from 2 to Ellison. We'll be back from this astonishing game of rugby league. We'll be back in just a few moments to see what South Sydney can do about it in the second half. Well, 28 points to 6. I wonder whether the South Sydney side have been given words of wisdom or some magical potions being put on their drinking water to get them back into this game. They've made one change, though. David, you can tell us about that.
Yes, I'll just be speaking with the South Sydney Dr. Nathan Gibbs. Ian Roberts is off the field. He had a recurrence of that neck problem. Michael Andrews, the regular lock forward right through the 1987, is the man coming on. That's him in picture at number 8. And also the Canberra side, sensational right on half-time when that try was scored by Cruikshank. Dean Lance has been given 5 minutes in the sin bin for, you'll see it coming up here in picture, an early tackle, in fact, it was on Michael Blake. So 5 minutes in the sin bin for the Canberra captain, but 28 points to 6 the scoreline at half-time.
Well, it's a golden opportunity now for South Sydney, while Canberra are a man short for 5 minutes to get themselves into the action. The kick-off's taken place. That's Mark Ross, the replacement winger that came on. The penalties went 4-all in the first half. The scrums went 5-4 to Canberra. Missed tackles 7 to Canberra, 5 to South Sydney. The handling errors 1 to Canberra and 5 to South. Coleman, Boyle, Davidson working their way upfield. Coleman running at the opposition. Last tackle coming up now as Neville gets slowly to his feet. Phil Blake got a pass back on the inside. There's Boyle. He's got one away. There's 3 very late passes. Fennick got his pass to Chisholm and the referees call that one forward. And Mario actually nodded in agreement with the referee there. South Sydney ball. Ross tried to come from the blindside wing to inject himself in there, but fell to the tackle. Neville. Coleman. Andrews. Davidson. Swung the pass away to Cruikshank. Losing ground in this move. Fennick. Coleman. Ellison. Neville drops it behind him. Doesn't... well, the referees ruled it a knock-on. They're a little bit tough on knock-ons these days. I was under the impression it had to be propelled towards the opponent's goal line with a hand or arm. But that was no way a knock-on. Let Fennick in. Is what the referee's about at the moment. On to Henjak. Long cut-out pass out to Walters. Slips. Good pass away to Belcher. Walters again, toughing it out, going straight in the head. Lost the ball forward, picked up by Boyle. Now he straightens up. Out to Fennick. Dawson swivels, looks from the inside, doesn't pass it. Neville, Coleman, Davidson, got a pass away, but it's gone to ground. Davidson, held by one leg, onto Coleman. That pass was touched in flight, 6 to go. Fennick, onto Davidson, who's trying to be involved in every ruck. Great to be young. That pass was forward from Mario Fennick. Got it away to Chisholm now. One back on the inside to Andrews. Midway between the quarter and Canberra's end of the field and the halfway. Neville, cut out pass out to Cruikshank. Good pass. He's got some pace, this lad. Look at him go. He's up beyond the quarter, gets it back inside to Neville. Then the ball went to ground, picked up by Kenner. He's got a great big circular run he's made now. Got through the gap, got it away to Jackson. Jackson's got support on the outside. He comes back inside. He's weaving back on the inside now. Corkery runs from dummy half, gets a pass away to Henjak. Henjak out to Belcher. Belcher to O'Sullivan. Sullivan to Backo. Backo drops it behind him. And the referee's going to call that a knock on too. Spare me days. Yeah, Michael Blake looks as though he's coming across to talk to somebody about his knee. Yes, Neil Baker's on there for South Sydney. He's going to take up the fullback role.
And Blake's moved into the centres, but Morrissey has now affected that with big Sam Backo coming off to a hero's reception here at the Sydney Cricket Ground.
Okay, Morrissey on for Sam Backo. Well, he's going to remember this match for a long while. Good strong play there by South Sydney, but the ball went astray. Coyne's got it for Canberra. Morrissey now in possession. Big lump of a boy. Yes, David, you've got the mighty man, Backo there. Just a moment, Henjak's on O'Sullivan's on the burst. He's got up towards the corner, looks back on the inside, gives it to Jackson. Jackson gets a pass back on the inside. It's gone to Boyle. Boyle gets it away to Mark Ross. Mark Ross is clearing his line. Oh, desperately close there with Canberra. All up a try scorer, but the last pass went to the wrong man. Yes, I was about to say, you've got a man there that's a bit of a hero this afternoon.
Well, he certainly is a hero, Sam Backo. Sam, a well-earned rest out there. It's been a great performance by the Raiders.
Yeah, mate. I come off. I've got another flu the last couple of days. And I thought it was the worst night last night. So I was doing it a bit hard there.
Well, you're doing it a bit hard. You take a well-earned rest and we'll see you back at the SCG next weekend.
Yeah, well, the boys hold it from here, mate. We'll be there.
Okay, well done, Sam Backo, Rex.
Yes, indeed. He's had a very, very strong game. Very powerful game. Now Henjak runs from dummy half, gets the pass away, back inside. It's going to be a soft try to O'Sullivan. He's just stripped a tackle and gone over there, changed direction. It's so easy, all so easy. The famous South Sydney spirit has just fallen in a heap at the moment.
And on the State Bank replay, very quick feed from the scrum for Canberra, so they had a head start out of that scrum area from the forwards. Well, the defence there from David Cruikshank just falling off O'Sullivan. All the cover defence had gone looking out wide for the backs of the Canberra Raiders, and it's taken some 13 minutes in the second half for the comeback or the reply from South Sydney to finally fall apart. A couple of chances for them, and the balls have just been spilt when gaps have been on, allowing the possession back to Canberra. If you're going to let a side like Canberra with so much, a big share of possession in the game of rugby league, they're going to score tries. They've got a terrific back line, and they know just where those goalposts are.
Well, he's just got that one. That went off the side of his foot slightly. Fortunately, he was in front. So the score now, Canberra 34, South Sydney 6. It was thought before this match that South Sydney would use the bomb. They resurrected it this year, that they would use the bomb on Gary Belcher, who they deduced had a weakness under pressure. Well, he hasn't shown much of that today. Mind you, he hasn't been put under any pressure. O'Sullivan kicks, the ball taken out of the air. Nicely by Neville, who's been a good player for the South Sydney side, to Ellison. Then away to Cruikshank. Cruikshank's got some pace, he's going strongly. Gets a pass back on the inside, it's gone to ground. I think Morrissey's cleaned it all up. And the penalty's gone to South Sydney.
And 5 minutes in the sin bin for Kevin Walters there, tackling Phil Blake. Michael Stone ruling that Walters tried to affect the tackle before the ball had come to South. And now they're on the move.
Neville stands a man up. He's tackled only about 5 metres out. Now this could be a time when South Sydney, they can't do it that way. A knock on a dummy half when you've got a man off the field just gone off for 5 minutes is just not on. Scrum to go down 10 metres out from the Canberra line. Henjack defeated. And he's penalised the South Sydney lock for detaching himself from the scrum before the ball was out. There's Andrews, he's the man. Kick for touch, finds not a bad touch from there, about 10 metres out beyond the quarter. Todd had a strong game today. Ashley Gilbert too has been a hard man to stop and has found a lot of running out among the backs. Henjack switching it back to the blind side to Lance. Corkery. Over the halfway line now. Todd. Just driven a bit sideways at the end of the run. On a coin. Jackson, the kick ricochets and rebounds off a player. Well, a Canberra player was standing in an offside position, caught the ball and passed it to another player of his team. The referee pinged it. See it again.
And an untidy passage of play from Canberra for 2/3 of the match. Well, it's 2/3 of the match gone now, and there is their offsides to Walters. But can Canberra keep their minds on the job? Is it a case of South Sydney coming back with some sort of respectability in the last 15 or 20 minutes? Not with mistakes like that. If in fact Corkery has got a touch to the ball, the touch judge is ruling that he has touched the ball, so the scrum will go down. But Canberra got to keep their mind on the jobs and see if their defensive line can remain intact.
Just about 7 or 8 metres outside the quarter. Coleman, little knock on or knock back. Referee signalled that. Out to Baker. Baker striding out. He's a good runner. He's got some pace. It's going to be a try to break, is it? He probably got that down. Yes, he did. It's a try to Phil Blake. Certainly the fastest player on this field, over 40 yards. Astonishingly quick. Look at him go.
Good play from Neil Baker on the State Bank replay to commit that Canberra defence to drag the player in. So the only chance of catching Phil Blake was out wide. He's one of the quickest players, if not the fastest on the field. Good play, dummy play in the back line to suck the defence in. And away they go now with Kinder trying to match paces with Blake. In fact, the Canberra winger taking the quarter post out over the sideline.
The kick at goal looks a good one. It is a good one indeed. It's just dropped over from the sideline. That's a fine kick. 34 points to 12. Canberra 34, South 12. Is this some sort of a resurgence by South Sydney? Are they going to get respectability? Well, we'll have to wait and see. Coleman, long cut-out pass to Ellison. Ellison there away to number 14, Darryl Neville. Neville gets a pass away there, which has gone to ground. The referee says play on. Now Canberra in disarray at the moment. Mario Fenny comes straight ahead. The last tackle coming up now. Coleman attacking the side that Canberra don't have many players. Little grubber kick's been put through. Should be cleaned up by Belcher. And he's been dragged back into the in-goal area.
So if there are gaps in this defence, and they are starting to open up, another 6 tackles for South, so we're going to see a lot of play on the quarter line now against the Canberra Raiders, with Phil Blake maintaining a total involvement and Les Davidson. Only 14 minutes remaining though in the game, so time certainly against Souths.
Belcher with a kick. Baker takes it cleanly. Dummies to give it to the winger who showed himself on the inside. He's got it on the outside now. Rounds it up now. The pass back on the inside has been intercepted by Kevin Walters. So Canberra off the hook. Dean Lance had to go down to that one. I thought there was a player fell over there that was intending to take the football, and the pass went astray. Now Boyle came down with Dean Lance. And Canberra being asked to... What are they being asked to do here? There were knees in the back there, but I think it was probably accidental from Boyle. Phil Carey will come onto the football field. He's number 14 there.
Yes, he's coming on for Peter Jackson. Has had a welcome return to form today. He's been very solid in the centre three quarters for the Canberra Raiders, and a big confidence booster for next weekend.
Yes, he's been a fine player today. His kicking has been instrumental in keeping South Sydney on the back move. Baker gets a kick downfield. It's not going to put terribly much pressure on anyone. Taken by Corkery, who rounds his man and comes back upfield. Now this fella's got pace. He's got himself into the clear. Coleman's there. Coleman's get pushed out of the way. He's over the top of Coleman. Back inside to Carey. Carey to Belcher. And Belcher's going to score a try. No, he's not. He's brought down only about 5 metres out from the line with a great tackle from Phil Blake. Moving it out along the line now to Carey. Carey to Henjack. Henjack stands in a tackle. Tries to weave his way back there, but...
Mick Stone has been forced to stop the play because a spectator has leapt the fence. He was shouting at Phil Blake as he made the covering tackle. Maybe this is what South Sydney has been searching for in the second half, a little bit of extra support.
Okay, well, we've got a bit of action going here. There was a kick through put there by Canberra. The race was on, but South Sydney have fallen on it about a metre from their line. We've got 9 minutes to go. Jason Moon in possession now and tearing away out to the 10-metre line. Davidson has done everything as usual at 100 miles an hour. He's a very, very involved footballer. Coleman through the dummy, but he's been through the tackle. That's Andrews. Going to pass away. The pass was knocked down, picked up by Kinner. Kinner's going to go on and score a try. He is, and he's got no brains because he could have gone round 15 or 20 yards there. Absolutely no brains. He's dived over as soon as he's crossed the line. He could have gone round 15 or 20 yards.
And this passage of play will just sum it up for South Sydney. Coleman putting Andrews away through here. That pass was probably forward, but it was allowed to go on. And the drop ball here, another mistake, unfortunately, for South. Nothing going their way all day. Kinner right on the spot to pick it up. Their defences might have been starting to tire late in this second half. South have been forced to throw passes like this, trying to push the ball under pressure situations right throughout the second half. And for that, the major part of the second half of the first 40 minutes. But Kinner was there on the spot just to accept it and wrap up the victory for Canberra. South Sydney, mistakes all day long.
I'm told Todd has left the field. David, is that correct?
Yes, Brent Todd off with an ankle injury. Replacement number 23, Glenn Lazarus.
Glenn Lazarus. Belcher moves in. Predictably misses. So the score remains 38 points Canberra, 12 points to South Sydney. Canberra would be just as tired as South Sydney, but they've got the impetus of a good win going for them. It's not a bad kick from Henjack. Put that down. It's caught in the junction of the goal line, the sideline. That little pocket where fullbacks have a lot of trouble. Now South Sydney are very, very slow back in onside. Lindsay Johnson. Three minutes and 15 seconds in this match. Little kick over the top. Be taken out of the air beautifully by Kinner. Coleman being called out. We'll need to see that again.
And called out for a show of frustration here. The ball being caught. Craig, no doubt, the result of today's victory really wearing pretty thin with him. And doing something that he wouldn't normally do there. Doesn't want to do something silly now that's going to see him start the season late in 1988, though.
Well, Belcher has taken to this goal kicking. He enjoys it. He's had a pretty useful day for them. Well, predictably, he's gotten it. So there it is. Gary Belcher's come up with a 6-goal performance here in a Canberra scoreline that reads 40 points to South Sydney's 12. A real whipping. No doubt about it. The Canberra boys have arrived on the Sydney scene. They are a force to be reckoned with. And it is just a little bit sad that they're losing the coaching impetus they've had this season with Wayne Bennett and Don Ferner. From the kick-off, Kinner, the wing 3-quarter, just gets beyond his quarter line. Lazarus taking it up. Rowan Brennan. 59 seconds to go in this sudden death semi-final. Belcher kicks downfield. It's not a bad kick. It's hemmed Baker into that area again. Well, Jason Moon into that area again where fullbacks have trouble running either way. Canberra just going through the motions now. They've won the game. They won it about, had it won about 17 or 18 minutes ago. South Sydney come with a long cutout pass.
Chase out, Matty, chase out, Matty, chase out, chase out.
Little kick ahead taken by Wallace. He's not going to score a try, is he? Heavens above, he is. Bless my soul. Stephen Walters picked a kick out of the air which was intended to be regathered by David Cruikshank, and he's gone ahead and scored a try. Simple as you please. See it again.
So the Raiders opened with a burst and they've finished this semi-final with another burst. David Cruikshank wanting to try and open it up for Souths to finish on the right note for the Rabbitohs in 1987, but being forced error again in their own quarter line. Canberra Raiders just capitalising on that to finish this game. So we're now left with 3 teams in 1987, Canberra, Manly and Eastern Suburbs, and it's going to be great for the fans because they all rely on throwing the ball about. They've got plenty of pace, a ton of pace out wide, so the fans are going to be the winners.
Well, you wouldn't want to know he's kicked the goal. So there it is. A very, very heartwarming performance by Canberra for their fans. South Sydney have been put right through the cleaners this afternoon. 46 points to 12. O'Sullivan 2 tries. Belcher 1, Henjack 1, Gilbert, Bacco, Kinner and Stephen Walters. That's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 tries and 7 goals to Belcher. For South Sydney, 2 solitary tries, 1 to Cruikshank and 1 to Phil Blake, and Ellison 2 goals. Congratulations to Canberra, you've arrived on the Winfield Cup scene.